Hey everyone, my name is Andy. Welcome to Namaste at Home Yoga. And if you haven't met him before, this is my cat Neville. Today, I'm back in my onesie, so we're going to bring it back to a yin practice. Get your comfy clothes on, take it easy for a little bit, and grab anything that you might need just to help prop you up a little bit today. So for me, that's going to be a couple of yoga blocks. I also have just a blanket that I can roll up as a little bit of extra support. So if you have a blanket, maybe a couple of firmer pillows, those might be helpful as we make our way through today's practice. So grab whatever you need and find your way just down to your back, and we will get things started. From your back today, we're just going to settle on in, let go, starfish out if you need to a little bit here. And let yourself get really heavy down into your mat. Taking a moment while we're here to let go. Connecting with the breath. Feeling that gentle expansion with each breath in. Noticing where we release, where we relax with each exhale. Being mindful of the breath as we make our way through this practice. Thinking about full deep breaths, but really just letting the body go at its own pace. I'll encourage you to really complete each exhale. Working through that a little bit together here. If you'd like to connect with the breath more, bring one hand to the belly, one hand to the chest. As you breathe in, think about filling up the belly, fill up the chest. Exhaling, let the chest fall and belly falls. Inhale, belly, chest. Exhale, chest and belly. Let's find a couple more just like that. Absolutely no rush. From there, let's start to bring a little bit of movement back to the body. We can wiggle fingers, toes, rolling wrists and ankles. Maybe rock that head side to side, massaging out the base of the skull. And then let's zip the legs together here. Send the arms up overhead. Maybe you can extend them out long. Reaching up, get as long, as tall as you can, and then let's find a crescent shape here. You can walk the feet over towards the right side of the mat and reach the upper body there as well. While we're here, directing our breath through the left side body, through the rib cage, encouraging that expansion, that length, maybe encouraging a little bit of length through the arms, reaching through the fingertips if you have room. Allowing the shoulder blades just to melt back to your mat, relaxing down. And we'll find our way over to the second side. You can start to walk your feet over to the left, reaching your upper body up and over as well. Breathing in space through the right side of the body. Breathing in length. Exhaling, just feeling the shoulder blades melt back into the floor, back into your mat. Noticing where we're creating openness. Where in the body is grounded? Find one more good breath here. And we'll find our way back in through center. We can tuck knees in towards the chest, give ourselves a little squeeze, maybe a little rock side to side. And then allowing feet to plant. We're going to bring them about hip distance. Knees can point up towards the sky, keeping them also hip distance apart here. You can open the arms up to either side, maybe finding goalposts or a T. And just encouraging some gentle movement through the lower body. We'll find an inhale to stay through center. As we exhale, letting the knees gently fall over towards one side. Inhale, we pull back through center. Exhaling, letting the knees gently fall, other side. Inhaling through center. Exhale, let them go. Inhale, center. Exhale, fall, second side. Let's do one more each side. Take your time, no rush. I'll meet you back in the middle whenever you're done. You can draw those knees back in towards the chest one more time here. Find that squeeze, that little bit of compression, and then just rock and roll over towards one side or the other. Come on up to your tabletop. We'll bring shoulders to stack over top of wrists, knees under hips. And settling back into a child's pose here. Hips sink back towards heels, arms can extend overhead. Letting the chest melt towards the mat, forehead can get heavy here. And we want to create a little bit of openness through the shoulders. If you need to sink down a little bit more, maybe we walk the knees a bit farther apart, mat distance, creating more space for us to drop down. Or feel free to use something like a block to rest the hands on as we melt. Breathing space into the front of the shoulders. Being mindful of where we are feeling different sensations here, whether there's some areas of compression, if there's other areas of tension that we can start to breathe space into. Exhaling some of that tension away. Resting for a few more breaths. Always coming back to the sensation of the breath if the mind starts to get busy. If we have a block, we can bring that off to the side once more. Finding your way back up just to a seat. Go ahead and send the legs out in front of you for now. We'll bring feet together. Let the knees fall open to sides here for butterfly. If you prefer to hang out in this one, maybe with the sit bones on a block, you can bring it sideways, just underneath the hips here. With whether that lift just helps you to relax into this posture a little bit more, or maybe it gives the knees a little bit more room to open up to sides. You do you, whatever feels best. We're going to keep this one fairly passive today, so allowing those knees just to fall, let gravity do the work. I know I have a block, I mentioned that, but of course a cushion will do just as well here, or a rolled up blanket will also work. With an inhale, grow really tall in your spine. And as you exhale, just start to melt forward. We're going to take our time here. I'll encourage you to do no grips with the hands today. Keep them relaxed, keep them soft, allowing the back to gently round. We're not forcing ourselves into this rounded position, but letting gravity do some of that work for us. Noticing where in and around the legs, the hips, the back we might be opening up, or maybe we're holding on a little bit. Breathe into those spaces. Hear your breath as it moves through the body here. Allow yourself to really connect with that breathing pattern, with that body's natural rhythm, natural flow. Maybe you'll find that areas that are a little bit more challenging actually start to soften with each smooth exhale. Let's find our way back up. Take your time, no rush. We're going to bring this into a little bit more of a straddle. Not your absolute max today, but somewhere that you're going to find a little bit of a stretch, bringing legs open to either side here. We're going to start back in that nice tall spine. Again, feel free to elevate the hips if that feels okay for you. And I'll encourage you today to keep toes and knees pointed up towards the ceiling, just avoiding letting them roll forward. Feel free to bend the knees as much as you need. We'll inhale to get tall, and again as we exhale, we start to melt forward. Not pulling ourselves forward and down here, but just settling in, letting gravity do that work for us. And here, while we're hanging out for a few breaths, maybe this is a good spot to add our blocks. Give us somewhere just to come and rest. Maybe stacking up those cushions or blankets. Breathing in space to, again, our hips, maybe through the backs of the legs. Noticing where else we might be able to let go. And as we spend more time in each of these postures today, just be aware that busyness of the mind is going to happen. Thoughts are going to come. But as easy as those thoughts float in, let them float past. Just as easily, just as quickly. Coming back to the breath, that's the easiest way to bring your focus back to the present moment. So we're in each of these postures. As we're creating space. Let's find 2 more good breaths here. Making the most of each moment. And we'll start to bring ourselves back on up. Go ahead and find your way to a comfortable cross-legged position. wringing things out a little bit, we'll just move into a gentle twist. So we'll inhale to get tall. As we exhale, right arm reaches towards that left knee, still growing tall, tall, tall with each breath in, but feeling both sit bones grounded while we're here. Core is engaged to help support our trunk, our spine. And our next exhale can gently bring us back through center. Moving to our second side, we'll inhale, grow tall. Exhale, we twist. Left arm reaching across this time. Growing up out of those hips as the crown reaches high. Finding that expansion, that space. Always those deep, smooth breaths. Once more with your exhale, we'll release through center. We're going to find our way kind of onto our backs once more, but in a way that will open a little bit more through the upper back, through the chest. And if you have a block or a cushion, definitely have that handy. We're going to bring it underneath our shoulder blades for a little bit of support. So go ahead and send your legs out long in front of you. Placing a block maybe across on one of the wider ends, not a ton of a lift, maybe a little bit higher up. If you really need the extra lift, you can bring it to an end, or again, just a rolled up blanket will do, coming to rest under those shoulder blades so we can allow ourselves to open up here. I'll leave it up to you today whether it's more comfortable to let the feet come flat, or maybe you extend those legs long for, this one's called a fish pose. I'm going to start to open up over that block, letting the head come back. If this is too much extension for you, feel free to tuck that other pillow behind the head and just really allowing the shoulders to open here. Arms can stay at the sides, palms opening towards the sky. Encouraging those deep breaths. And again, I'll encourage you, if you need, to give the head a little bit more cushion so that the focus comes into opening more through the chest, more through the shoulders, less through the front of the neck, although it's okay to have a little bit of gentle extension there. See if we can really connect with that rise and fall of the belly, rise and fall of the chest. Through each inhale and exhale, allowing the shoulders to sink heavy away from the ears, down towards the mat. Two more here. And then we will take our time, slowly bringing ourselves back up, engaging with that core as we curl back up, removing any blocks or props that we have going on under us. And for today, to wrap things up, we're going to move into legs up the wall. So you'll need just a little bit of wall space. Keep a block handy or come back to your blanket. We're going to bring that block right close to the wall. And I'll encourage you to set up with this one. Try and bring your sit bones nice and close to the wall first. And then roll onto your back here to bring legs up, heels to rest. You can lift the hips gently as much as you need to rest on that block or to rest on that pillow. This is going to be our alternative to our final Shavasana today, as we let those hips hang out. Let our legs relax, resting on the wall. And allow the upper body to once again really become grounded here as the shoulder blades, backs of the arms, backs of the hands, back of the head really melt in. Let them be heavy. Let go of that effort. Just come back to your breath. The day is going really fast, or the mind is so busy that you might have a minute or so just to slow things down. Coming into legs up the wall, connecting with those deep belly breaths is such a positive way to slow things down. Getting more in tune with that ease, that relaxation, that letting go. Sometimes that we just need a little more of. And switching more to our parasympathetic nervous system that allows us to rest. Taking a pause from the go, go, go. Pause from the busy mind. I'll encourage you to maybe hang out here for another few minutes. Or you can gently remove that block from under the hips. Give yourself one more big squeeze here. Nice little back massage with that rock and roll. You can find your way back up to a seat. And if you're still resting in that legs up the wall, hang out there for as long as you need. I really encourage that position. It's always a great one, or it's often a great one, as long as the body is really agreeing with it. I want to thank you so much for joining me for a comfy, cozy yin practice, and we will see you again soon. Namaste.